Or refer to a letter I sent to State, Homeland Security, FBI, and Department of Defense. It was in regard to an interview you gave in which you confirmed that there's active Hezbollah cells in Venezuela. And of course, everything going on in Venezuela is just something that gets our attention very quickly. Hezbollah's proximity, or Venezuela's proximity to our border increases their scope of influence and also allows other foreign adversaries like China, Russia, and Iran to strengthen their existing power hubs. When looking at global counter-narcotics, it's nearly impossible to ignore the effect of drug trafficking organizations, transnational criminal organizations, and terrorist groups. In fact, by many accounts, state weakness and powerful criminal organizations are a direct result of drug trafficking. So, my first question, what role does Hezbollah play in organized drug trafficking? What other related criminal and terrorist activity exists as a result of money generated by trafficking drugs?
You bet. So the answer to your first question is, I wouldn't put it at the top of the list in terms of bad actors and volume for drugs. That's not the case. But they are active in Venezuela and in the tri-zonal region there in South America. They are active. It is mostly a money-making enterprise. That is, it is designed to generate revenues for Hezbollah and its activities, which are largely conducted in the Middle East, to help them make payroll throughout the Middle East. But Senator Grassley, to your point, all the negative follow-ons from that activity flow through those regions. All the things that hang around the trafficking, the violence, all the issues that surround business enterprises that center on narcotics flow exist as a result of Hezbollah's role there in South America as well.
Yeah. Amongst the ongoing political unrest in Venezuela, how can the State Department ensure that drug trafficking organizations and other criminal and terrorist organizations, including Hezbollah, don't grow stronger?
It's very difficult.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just say this, it doesn't mean we're giving up. We're certainly working on it. We have folks working on the border between Venezuela and Colombia, the Brazilian border, all of the places that we can touch and reach. But it is the case that we no longer even have an embassy in Venezuela. So it is difficult for us to do that. So we monitor, collect intelligence, and attempt to identify networks and work on them in places that surround Venezuela.
I want to go to drug or money laundering. Criminal elements are less likely to deal drugs if they can't benefit financially from the crime. Likewise, drug trafficking organizations are heavily reliant upon international banking system to fund their operations. How effective are our current anti-money laundering laws and existing sanction programs in destabilizing transnational criminal organizations and targeting the proceeds of drug trafficking?
Well, to give a qualitative answer to that, we spend a lot of resources on it, mostly Treasury in terms of the banking system, but connected to what the intelligence community and State Department has a role there as well. Clearly not sufficient, Senator Grassley. Your point is well taken. There are still spaces where money can move. The AML laws, the anti-money laundering laws are good. They're effective. They give us the resources and tools, and we force a lot of the resources to move through cash systems, non-international banking systems. But there's still more work to do there.
Well, is there any change of law or help you need from Congress in that regard? Have you suggested anything? If you do, now's an opportunity to repeat it.
Senator Grassley, if you will, I'd love to have Treasury give you the answer to that in writing.
So it's more a Treasury than
the money laundering. We have a tiny role in this. It is really a Treasury matter more than it is state. We work on that same set of issues, and the designations that flow from those often are State Department designations. But the most important work in the banking system is done by Treasury.
Okay, this might be my last question. Colombia is the world's leading producer of cocaine. We Plan Colombia, we've talked about, we put a lot of money into it. The financial assistance has supported eradication and interdiction efforts as well as alternative development. What steps has the State Department taken to evaluate the effectiveness of eradication interdiction to reducing the supply of cocaine in Colombia?
Senator, we have published data, and we will continue to publish data. So has the intelligence community about hectares under cultivation. There's still a lot of work to do. There's an important court decision that will take place in Colombia, I think by late summer or early fall, which will either permit or deny President Duque for the capacity to do aerial spraying, which is an important tool that they need for interdiction and destruction of these coca fields. But we have really good data. I think we have our hands around it. We work alongside our Colombian counterparts. The United States government works in the eradication business. And when President Duque took over, I will say he has built back these teams. It is hard work. It is manual physical work. When you can't do aerial spraying, it is manual physical work, and he has built back the teams that are taking down these things at loss of life to Colombian law enforcement officials. I think President Duque is making a sincere effort to get this coca production inside of his country going back in the right direction, a real reduction year on year.
Okay, thank you very much.